Human trafficking, specifically child sex trafficking, is when a person traffics a child and by any means causes that child to engage in or become the victim of prostitution or promotion of prostitution or several other listed underlying offenses. A person can commit child sex trafficking in three different ways. Either the person traffics the child, the person receives a benefit from the child being trafficked, or the person engages in sexual contact with the child who's being trafficked. We're not seeing the type of cases you see on the movies. I do not have a case where a child was kidnapped from soccer practice and forced into sex trafficking. And in my cases, the victims are vulnerable teenagers. Oftentimes they're runaways. In one case she had reconnected with an old friend of hers in high school through Instagram. And what she didn't know is that her friend was being trafficked. And because of that, she was lured into it herself. Sex trafficking is like a business model to a certain degree. They're recruiting teenagers and then they train them. And there are very specific rules to sex trafficking, and it's rather appalling. I mean, these young women have to have permission to speak, they have to have permission to eat, to leave the room. They have a certain quota they have to make. Oftentimes there's violence involved. It's difficult for some victims of child sex trafficking to identify as the victim. Oftentimes they have trauma bonds. They're very protective of their trafficker. Some of these cases can be pretty complex with different layers. It's all about social media, and so we know to monitor social media as much as you can. Just have honest conversations with your children, your daughters. I mean, if they ever find themselves in a situation, do not feel shame. There's a safe place to come home.